welcome to Ávila, a city famous for hearty food, lots of old buildings, an amazing medieval wall, one of Spain's heavy hitters from the ecclesiastical line of famous people, Santa Teresa. A lot going on here, and it's a day trip from Madrid, so I've come out for one night to eat and drink way too much and explore all these things with Steve. Right, first stop, hopefully get into the 16th century palace converted into a Parador hotel for a coffee and a nibble. Hello from the Parador of Ávila. I thought because we've got a nice little courtyard, there's no wind, we've got our breakfast here of pan con tomate, which is your classic, and a nice coffee. Parador coffees always come with a free biscuit, by the way. Just a quick recap of our weekend plan. We're going to eat a lot, and we're going to visit as many bloody churches as we can. Steve will probably hate me by the end, won't you, Steve? All the churches are going to force you to. But for now, we're going to have a breakfast. We're going to check into our hotel. Just one finger, and we're going to get eating. Okay, we're going to head out to a famous viewpoint, Cuatro Postes, where you get hopefully a nice appreciation of the whole skyline of Ávila. I thought this would be one to share, with a whole bowl each.
Yeah.
Now we're going to Restaurante Siglo XII, which is from the Siglo XII, which is the oldest restaurant in Ávila. Alright, they've arrived. We've got Russian salad. We've got patatas revolcanas, which is like a paprika stock mashed up with potatoes, with torreznos, with the pork rinds. And we've got judías del barco, which is like a bean stew. We've got red wine, and then a big steak is coming. But these are traditional kind of tapas of Ávila. I imagine it's like a paprika-y pork stew. It's that classic kind of salty, porky Spanish flavor. Cold local wine. Well, question is, who's doing cutting duty? How's the chuletón? Yeah? Very good? Sabe guarro. Pretty good, isn't it? What's the one you're thinking?
Maybe this bad boy.
Oh. Teresa and a dove and a wall. That's a good one. The walls and the cathedral, built basically the same time, are kind of fused together. So a lot of the buildings here are sort of sewn in to the wall, and this was a big fortress cathedral. And before we have siestas in the middle of the street, we're going to head into the cathedral, which is 1,000 years old and is one of the first examples of Spanish Gothic. That might be one of the better cathedrals I've been in Spain. What is really cool for me was what's called Piedra Sangrienta, the bleeding rock, which is granite, which has some like silicate mass in it, so it comes all cobbled and red, and they call it the bleeding rock, which is quite fun. And also Adolfo Suarez, the first leader of Spain after Franco, was buried there. Right, so I'm forcing myself and a victim, Steve. We're trying the famous sweet of Ávila, which everyone like, oh, when you go to Ávila, you've got to get this Yema de Ávila. It's a historic pastry shop pastry shop on this square, and it's essentially a candied egg yolk. I've had it once before. I don't think I liked it too much. It's essentially a little squidgy thing. Are you ready? Are you gonna go all in one?
Yeah.
Cheers. Yours is bigger than mine as well. Go for it. Very eggy at the end, isn't it? No. No, thank you. No, thank you. Right, part 2. It's tapas time, and do you feel energized and ready to go after our 2-hour break?
Still feel chuletón in my guts.
Okay, yeah, me too. The American, enjoying the medieval sights of old Castile and Leon. Oh yes, he loves them. Mesongredos. So this is free with a drink, and it is close up there. I think you look a little paprika and mint, pork mince in the bun. This would be like €3 in Madrid. I mean, I'm not hungry. It's unnecessary, but it's free. I mean, for goodness sake. Okay, a couple of beers in. TikTok, natural wine o'clock. Hopefully be okay. I'm not a big natural wine fan, but we're going to Blin Blin and get some wine. Mr. Stephen Bennett sitting in the window like an elegant young man. But they're mostly kind of naturally wines, so they might be amazing, they might be interesting. So I've gone for it's quite chocolatey, like the chocolatey field blend. Steve, how's your wine? You can be honest. These are not normal wines, but I think they're quite nice. Mine's quite nice anyway.
It's okay.
It's drinkable, but it's not your vibe.
That's right.
What we got? That's a pimentoni one, a goat cheesy one, I guess like a mature one, and then something else. Steve is more of a mushroom man, but we'll just get his cheese opinion.
Just natural as well.
Wow. I'm gonna go straight for the mature cheese. That's good. Natural. Good stuff. Would you like some more wine?
Call it a night.
Ah, okay.
Have fun.
Okay. Next stop, La Bodeguita de San Segundo. Right, we're now drinking more normal wine, Ávila wine. Now, Ávila wine, it's DOP Febreros, named after the town of Febreros, which is a cute town, which is also where Adolfo Suarez, was born. So he's all of this area. And Garnacha is the key, Grenache. They tend to be quite light, but they've got a juicy kick to them. So we've ordered a whole bottle because they're light and they're fresh, and we wanted to be here for a bit longer. So, to Ávila wine. The free tapas is good, but it's like, I have to say, you know how we were saying about foods which, like, even if they suck, are still good, like tortilla, for me, from Bravas. A little toasted, crappy ham and cheese sandwich is still good. It's not a bad place for a little bar. Shall we have a little laugh? Do you recognise that bottle, Steve? We're at La Bruja. Really, really lovely place right by the wall. We've got a red wine from a Garnacha from here. Okay, so polite society is now leaving us. We're going down to the Fiestas, which Steve found. You can hear it, Jesus Christ, there's lights. We're going down to the bull ring area and we will see what awaits us there. I mean, you wouldn't think we're heading to the main Fiestas, would you? Okay, this is insane. There's about 1 million people there trying to go into the bull ring. And now we're in good old tacky funfair mode. Right. Steve, cheers. A la peña having a rebujito. Cheers. Alright, we're going up. We're going on a ride. We got Super Kangaroo. You ready, Steve? We're gonna die! That's insane! My brain.
I thought they were gonna say you're too old for this, but they let me on. We shouldn't have.
I think we are too old for this. Yeah, we got this. So that is the end of our first day in Ávila. We're quite tipsy and we're finally back in the centre. We'll see you in the morning. Good morning, fragile morning. That ride and those rebujitos. Anyway, we're in a little cafe called Vetonica, named after the Vetones, who are pre-Roman Iberian tribe. We're going to have a breakfast here, and the idea of this morning is to kind of follow the route of Santa Teresa, her birthplace, her first convent where she became a nun, the first convent she founded. Kind of follow yesterday's bacchanalia with a bit more culture. And maybe a bit less wine. That was ham and cheese, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Look at this. Yeah. Mmm. Right, it's time to talk about Santa Teresa. She was born in 1515 in that beautiful building behind me. Now, she was obviously not born in a massive basilica. It was built around where she was born to a loving family. What is quite fascinating about Santa Teresa, she wasn't a miracle performer like some saints were. Her mother died when she was very young, and then basically to sort of fill the gap where her mother wasn't, she turned to the Virgin Mary and became incredibly devout and incredibly linked to her love of the Lord and love of religion. So this is where she was born. This is her birthplace, and this gorgeous basilica, obviously because of the import of her, over time was built around her sort of first glimmers of life in Ávila. She's not buried here. She's buried in the neighbouring town of Alba de Tormes, which is quite cute. This is where the story of Santa Teresa started. Right, we're leaving the wall and the old town to head to the next spot on our Santa Teresa route. So we've seen where she was born and where the story started. We're now going down to the Monasterio de la Encarnación, which is where it continues. So this is the Convento de la Encarnación, beautiful building. This is where, as a young girl, now intensely devout, Teresa decided to become a nun, and she enrolled here. So it's a bit way off. The town is over there. There's Ávila. It's a bit out. This is where the seeds of Saint Teresa started to be planted. This is where Santa Teresa's room. Oh my goodness. Where she was born, we've seen. Where she first became a nun, we've seen. Now we're going to head back into the old town and we can see where she formed her first convent. Carmelites, this is what this one was known for. She thought they were too loosey-goosey, too hee-hee-ha-ha, too lightweight. She was incredibly devout. And her claim to fame, such as she used to do a lot of writings, and she wrote of her proximity to Jesus, almost in like a sensual, not romantic, but like she really loved him, and this pissed off the Inquisition no end, which is quite fun. They were like, this woman's gone mad writing about Jesus like this, which is quite fun. But she also experienced ecstasies, these kind of throes and pangs of pain and anguish and hallucinations, which at the time they thought she was seeing Jesus. But with all of her extensive writings, the modern conclusion is actually she had a strange form of epilepsy. But this proximity to God was kind of what made her important in the community, and then she set up her own much more serious, devout, shoeless and flesh mortification style convent of San Jose, which we're going to go and see now. And this is it, the convent that Santa Teresa founded, where she could be more serious, more pious. And when she died in Alba de Tormes, her body was divvied up. There's hands and feet and eyes in Rome, in San Luca de Barrameda. Her left hand, I think it was kept by Franco for some superstitious more power properties that might help him in his dying days. Very weird, poor lady. But this is where she finished her career, but not completely. She founded, I think, 20 other places in Spain. TikTok beer o'clock. So we're having a quick pit stop in Don Camilo too. And we've ordered just a couple of beers and a couple of waters. And we get your free pincho, your free tapa with your beer, but also with the water. Butifarra cooked in wine and a big croqueta, there you go. Pancetta adobado, yeah, with the paprika and then a big slab of black pudding. Right, next stop, Soul Kitchen. Alright, we've ordered 2 local Ávila beers, an RKO brewery project, with some free nachos, some free spicy potatoes, and a ración of guiozas. Good sauce. Got shrimp on it. That is an umami bomb and a half. Right, so our last stop of the day is the Monastery de Santo Tomás, which is a huge big thing, which we didn't realise. But it hides, as well as probably lots of beautiful architecture, an Oriental exhibit, which is the things that the Benedictine monks brought back from their travels when they were missionaries there hundreds of years ago, when Spain and Portugal chopped up the planet, and they were the 2 big dogs, and they arrived in Japan and in the East, and they brought back souvenirs. It's also worth mentioning they're not Benedictines, Dominicans, bringing back, as well as Oriental art, animals. There's a science museum in here. So Saint Teresa, when she was enrolled at the Encarnacion, the second place, her first convent she went to as a nun, she would come here to that confessional, because she prayed here, and she would confess her sins in that little box, on the other side of which is a chapel where the priest would listen. There's something a little incongruous about a natural sciences museum in a monastery, given today's battles of science and religion and faith. However, I suppose hundreds of years ago, everyone was a man of science, or God, or both at the same time. And of course, this place was built hundreds of years before Darwin, but it's quite a weird thing to have in a monastery. I also have to applaud the taxidermists of whenever these were from, because there are some great expressions. Just look at these bad boys. What have we got going on here, lads? Jeez. So we've left the final spot and we're going to make our way back to the station and head back to Madrid. Thoughts on Ávila? Your final thoughts, Steve? In 3 words?
Santa, Teresa, Grande.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to go for chuletón, vino and Teresa. It's the same idea. If you like the video, press all the buttons. And in the meantime, have a lovely Grande day.